Hello everyone, welcome to my ghost story channel. Before starting the first story, I would like to introduce a little bit. My grandfather was a Vietnamese soldier who fought during the war between the US and Vietnam during the 1970s, going through fierce battles, moments of life and death, times witnessing comrades sacrificed on the battlefield, mass graves of hundreds of lives, and many, many other things that haunted my grandfather's mind when peace was restored. But after a while, my grandfather decided to spend the rest of his life traveling around Vietnam, looking for the places where his comrades lay down. Many people asked, "Why don't you go to faraway places instead of enjoying your old age?" But he rejected all prejudices and still left on a sunset afternoon in 1991. Then from there on the journey throughout Vietnam, he witnessed and heard many stories that were not only horror, but also thrilling, mysterious, and scary about the spiritual events here, about the wandering souls, the events witnessed with our own eyes without any solutions. And it took a long time of persuasion before he was willing to share what he had experienced. And without making everyone wait too long, I will recount my grandfather's entire journey while here, hoping everyone will listen and comment so I can bring better stories next time. And his story is just about spiritual stories with no answers. As for the issue of the past war, I will not go into detail because the past is over. Let's enjoy the moment of peace. Thank you. I still remember that night in April 1966. After repelling the enemy attack, our team consists of exactly 4 people, including Kant, Hien, Kwok, and Mi Khan is the youngest, only 21 years old. Then I am 23 years old, Kwok is 25 years old, and Hien is 27 years old. We are evacuating innocent people to the North Ingang through the village. This place seems to have just gone through a bloody war. Not a single person in sight. Looks like everyone here has evacuated. Everything is desolate and ruined. And we decided to choose a house in this ruin to stay overnight. We divided the guard. Hien and I guarded first, while Khan and Kwok went to sleep. Hien and I drew lots to see who would guard first and who would guard in the back. The house where we lived was located at the beginning of the village. There are a few scattered houses around, a few mango trees and bamboo bushes. The night is quiet. Occasionally a gust of wind blows past, making the bamboo bushes rustle. Behind the house is a banana garden that was broken by bombs, and the leaves fell to the ground. In the distance, there are a few ruined houses. The only light is the moonlight that illuminates the entire area. The chirping of crickets and the sound of frogs echoing in the night are sounds that everyone who serves as a soldier here must hear. What remained was only a quiet night, terrifyingly quiet. We didn't dare light up and quickly ate a few pieces of dry food to fill our stomachs, afraid that the enemy will attack. Suddenly, I watch in front and you stay behind. At that time, I remember it was after 1 a.m. Suddenly, from far away, under the dim moonlight, there was an old woman or someone with wrinkled skin. Both hands hold something in front of the stomach. From across the street where the bamboo bushes are run past the right side of the house, I took a defensive stance immediately. But I could only see that shadow passing by for a split second. The grass and trees still swayed gently. Even though there was no wind, I hid close to the wall and looked out but didn't see anything. But it felt like she ran toward the back of the banana bushes where the ruined house was. I signaled him, but he said he didn't see anything. The image of that old woman still flashed in my mind, and suddenly I remembered, Why can you run so fast? Is the old lady old? But why can't you hear footsteps while running? Questions kept coming to my mind that I couldn't answer. 1:30 a.m. We returned in double shifts, probably due to lack of sleep, causing dizziness. Slowly fall asleep. Has anyone asked what I'm most afraid of here? I won't think, but will answer that the scariest thing is silence. When there is nothing, you expect something, and indecision can really kill you. About 20 minutes later, Kayan ran from the back of the house and shook us awake. Kwok also followed. Khan was sweating profusely on his face. His trembling hands pulled my shirt and said, "They also just saw something white glide quickly towards the ruined houses and then disappear." We didn't sleep anymore but sat up and took the gun. Could it be that the enemy is playing a trick to make us make noise? To find our hiding place? But suddenly, Kwok spoke up. The person with the most experience in this place of fierce war pat us on the shoulder and say, "Do you know what else is here besides humans?" I don't believe it either. These are all myths. There are no supernatural phenomena in the age of science. Until I see it, later, when I have a chance, I will tell you about it. If you don't believe it, just sit here quietly and observe. I guarantee that in no less than 20 minutes, it will pass by again. So we followed its orders. Ian and I guarded the front, Can and National Vigil in the background. I looked at the clock. It was already 2 a.m. My eyes were tired. In this place of war, there's nothing more precious than a good night's sleep. While I was trying to reassure myself, I saw it again. That white shadow, it flashed before my eyes again. Under the dim moonlight, this time I can see more clearly. An old woman with wrinkled skin, wearing a white knee-length t-shirt, quite large compared to her frail body. The head wears a conical hat. It seemed like there was so much blood that it soaked a large area of her back. His hands were holding or carrying something in his stomach, because it was so dark and so fleeting for a split second. I didn't have time to look closely, but something more horrifying caught my eye. When I glanced down, I didn't hear his footsteps running or any other sounds. Just like that, about 8 meters away from me. In just 2 seconds, the old woman disappeared behind the ruined house. Kwok signaled, waited until morning, and then came over to check. Now, if we go there, sometimes we will be ambushed by the enemy and will not be able to return alive early in the morning. We slowly walked towards that ruined house. Last night it was dark, and we couldn't see clearly, but when it was bright, everything slowly appeared clearly. We searched around the banana bushes, but found nothing. Carefully, step by step, towards the ruined house. Then we were horrified when we saw the ruins under the wall. It was the body of an old woman wearing a white shirt, a hat covering most of her face, but still enough for us to see. An old woman about 70 years old. One leg was broken, bent to the side. The other leg was still wearing a worn sandal. Together, we lifted the ruined wall, and Kanj couldn't hold back his fear and screamed. The thing she ran with yesterday was the old woman's intestines. It protruded and scattered all over the floor. The blood has dried. I guess he must have been dead for about 2-3 days. But why can these phenomena occur? Perhaps her soul intentionally wanted to show it to us. In war, we saw quite a few corpses, but to see the soul before seeing the body was probably the first time in my life. Don't know how to explain it, but it's true. After that, according to Kwosi's orders, we held a funeral for the old woman. Even though we are not family members, seeing that scene, none of us could hold back the emotions in our hearts. I hope the